Afghan man 45 marries girl age 6 before Taliban intervene and say he must wait until she's 9. Sounds very familiar. From where? Oh yeah, Muhammad. Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 and consummated, meaning finalized the marriage, when she was 9. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Hi guys, this is Sahar TV, and in today's video we'll see Oren from Traveling Israel, an amazing channel that you need to check out after this video, explaining the risks of the Islamization of the West. And he also included one of my videos. Let's take a look.
The number of Muslims in the West is going up. That's a fact. The number of Christians in Muslim countries is collapsing. That's also a fact. By 2050, Islam is expected to be the world's largest religion in terms of followers.
Wow.
This issue has massive implications, yet it is almost never discussed. Not because it is unimportant and not because no one notices, but because it is uncomfortable. And the reason it is uncomfortable is that the dominant narrative in the West is a bad mixture of multiculturalism and political correctness. A few days ago, I saw a video by my friend Sahar. Go follow him. He's a master of debunking anti-Israel video. He was reviewing another video that shows how Muslims want to take over America by creating closed Muslim-only communities. Throughout the video, he said several times that the West needs to wake up.
It's already happening, guys. Wake up.
Yep.
So people in the UK, chop chop. It's time to wake up. Yet it's happening as we speak. So wake the frick up.
I agree and I disagree. The West doesn't need to wake up. Waking up is for those who are asleep, unaware. What the West really needs to do is something much harder. It needs to admit it was wrong and change course.
Yep.
And fast. Multiculturalism is the idea that no culture is better than other, that it is all just in the eye of the beholder. In a moment, I will show you how easy it is to disprove this nonsense. Political correctness make it so that if you do notice cultural differences, and we all know they exist, you are not supposed to say anything. Definitely not criticize it, because of the danger of being labeled a racist.
Yeah.
I'm not a multiculturalist.
Guys, that's exactly why we have the damage we have in the UK, because people are scared to be labeled racist and Islamophobes.
I hope you aren't either. Let me be clear, when it comes to the unimportant things, skin color, clothing, music, food, sure, why not? Who cares if your skin is darker or lighter, or whether you like rice more than pasta? You can identify as whatever you want. Do you do a good job? I will hire you. But when it comes to the essentials, the fundamental values, democracy, women's rights, equality before the law, these are not negotiable. And our Western society must be absolutely clear about that. There are ways of life that cannot be tolerated. Nazism, communism, and Sharia law, which a large number of Muslims want to push into the West.
Yep.
Let's give concrete examples. Women's rights. Do you believe women have equal rights to men?
That's the most bizarre thing. Women's rights organizations, for some reason, side with Islam rather than with Israel. Why? Islam doesn't chase after women's rights. They think women should not be able to leave the house without a guardian, a male guardian. I don't get this.
If so, are you willing to accept a culture where women do not? Let's say I tell you that in my culture, it is acceptable to beat women. That in my family, it's a tradition. My grandfather beat my grandmother. My father beat my mother. And I beat my wife. Is that acceptable? Or if in my culture, a woman is considered property of the man at the head of the family, is that acceptable? That's Sharia law. By the way, the age of marriage, or to be precise, the age at which girls are married off, is very low. Is that acceptable too?
Afghan man 45 marries girl age 6 before Taliban intervene and say he must wait until she's 9. Sounds very familiar. From where? Oh yeah, Muhammad. Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 and consummated, meaning finalized the marriage, when she was 9. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. And Muslims see Muhammad as a perfect role model, someone to follow for all days. He never made a sin. He's the perfect man.
That acceptable too? So, do you believe in multiculturalism or do you believe in women's rights? You can't have both. Another example. One of the best things about the West, something we take for granted, is equality before the law. Under Sharia, non-Muslims have an inferior status called dhimmi and must pay a special tax called jizya. That's only for Jews and Christians. Members of all other religions are to be executed. That's also the punishment for leaving Islam. So again, the question, do you believe in multiculturalism and accept that non-Muslims must pay special taxes, or are you a decent human being with moral backbone?
Yeah.
How many Muslims in the West want to see Sharia implemented? Depends on the poll and the country, but it ranges between 30 and 50%.
Wow, guys, that's a huge amount. And these are the people who are aware of the Quran and are well versed on Islam. It's only them.
Not a small number. And here is another thing. In Muslim countries, it is always, or almost always, the religious extremists who end up on top. I'm always amazed by how quickly Western Europe forgot that thousands of Muslims who were born and raised in the West joined ISIS and committed the worst barbaric crimes.
Yep.
This happened just 10 years ago in Syria. 20 years from now, it will happen in Britain's cities. The signs are already visible. You can also see it in the general level of violence. I love how the media frames violence incidents, sexual assaults, and riots under the vague label migrants. Are those migrants from India? Maybe Chinese migrants are throwing stones at the
No.
police? Or is it, Western Europeans who allow Sharia law are like people watering the tree on which they will be hanged. So what can be done? The first thing is not even against anything. It is for something, for Western values. It doesn't matter if you're from Britain, France, Czech, Poland, the US, or Israel. Be for Western values. Be proud of your nation's contribution to Western civilization. As an Israeli Jew, of course, I could point to all the countless contributions of Jews and Israelis to the world. But let me say a few words about Britain. I just got back from London a few days ago. London is a city located about 6,500 kilometers east of Wisconsin. My wife had her 40th birthday, and for the first time we traveled without the kids. Highly recommended. One thing that bothered me, even though we did all the central tours and visited Britain's most iconic sites, there wasn't a single word about Britain's enormous contribution to the world. Now, I'm not a British historian. I will just share my opinion as an Israeli tour guide and low-level Mossad agent. I have plenty
Oren, why'd you blow your cover?
of criticism of Britain in the Mandate period. My grandfather fought the British. The British blocked Jewish immigration from Europe, Jews who could have been saved, while at the same time didn't limit Arab immigration into the land of Israel. The British created Jordan, and British officers led the Jordanian army that invaded Israel. They appointed Hajj Amin al-Husseini as a Grand Mufti, the man who led Arab attacks on Jews and collaborated with the Nazis to exterminate Jews.
By the way, guys, Grand Mufti Hajj Amin al-Husseini was a religious leader only of the Muslims. The Palestinian Christians were not controlled by the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem because he was a religious leader for the Muslims appointed by the Brits. Therefore, when people say Hajj Amin al-Husseini was a Palestinian leader, he was a religious leader for the Muslims living in the British Mandate of Palestine, not for the Jews and not for the Christians.
I could go on with criticism, but if you compare the land of Israel when the British arrived in 1917 to how it looked when they left in 1948, it's a different world in every field. The British brought law and order after centuries of corrupt Islamic rule. They built infrastructure, roads, railways, the port of Haifa, the airport. Yes, they did it to serve themselves and their empire. But here is the important point most people missed. It didn't come at the expense of the locals. On the contrary, it advanced the locals, Jews and Arabs alike. Look at medicine, epidemic, infant mortality. The British brought progress, good progress. And I think this wasn't just true in the land of Israel, but across the British Empire. And when I walked around central London, I didn't see one word about Britain's immense contribution to the world. By the way, Britain was also the first country to abolish slavery. Nice, isn't it? And beyond that, thanks to Britain, German is not the dominant language of Europe. And trust me, for that alone, the British deserve thanks. In English, the covers everything. The boy, the girls belong to the dog. In German, you've got like 12 different ones. Der, die, das, den, dem, des, a nightmare. The very first thing the West must do is be proud of its heritage. Once you have firm foundations, everything else becomes easier. And this needs to be taught in schools and said clearly to everyone who comes to live in the West. These are the basic values: democracy, women's rights, equality before the law. You think gay shouldn't be teachers? That's what most Muslims in Britain think. You think women should always obey their husbands? Again, that's what most Muslims in Britain think. You want Sharia law? Great. Go to Yemen, go to Afghanistan, go to Syria, go to Egypt. Go to the places where Sharia law already exists and enjoy.
The problem with this statement is that in Islam, they don't even believe in borders. They believe in a worldwide Khalifa. No borders. Everything is covered under the wing of Islam. So they don't want to go to these countries. They want to spread Islam all around the world because it says it in the Quran, Surah 933. Islam should prevail over all other religions.
I think people in the West don't understand is that Islamization is a one-way road. At the beginning of this video, I said that the number of Muslims is rising, but also that the number of Christians in Muslim countries is collapsing.
Yep.
This is important. If you told me, yeah, Belgium and England are becoming more Muslim, but in Iraq and Pakistan, the Christian communities are growing fast, I would say, fine, fair enough. But that's not the case. Islamization is not something that happens only in the West. It also happens in the Middle East. The clearest example is Lebanon.
Yeah.
When Lebanon was majority Christian, it was the pearl of the Middle East. In just a few decades, the percentage of Christians dropped from 60% to 30%. And the moment Christians leave, the country collapses. And it happened very fast. The Middle East used to be made up of many different ethnic groups and many Christian minorities. All of them, all the Christian communities, and every other minority in Muslim countries are persecuted and erased. Not just Christians, Hindus, Jews, Baha'is, Zoroastrian, Druze. There are no thriving minorities in Muslim countries. They all live in fear. And that's where Western Europe is going. That's where Western Europe is running. Now, in the
not only Western Europe, that's where the world is running towards. That's where the world is running towards. Imagine what it's like being the minority under Islam. Imagine what it's like. And back in the day, people converted out of fear. What do you think will happen in modern times? People will also convert out of fear. They tell you either you pay the jizya, or we fight you, or you convert to the religion of truth. Guys, this was Oren from Traveling Israel. He's got an amazing channel with a bunch of great informative videos about Israel, about the Jews, about Islam. Very, very good channel. So please subscribe to him because he's genuinely good. I learned a lot from him when I just started. And now it's amazing to see him calling me his friend on his video. But he's 100% correct. The West is running towards Islamization. And it is a one-way ticket. Once people become Muslim, they can convert out of it because the capital punishment under the major religion in 2050 is going to be the death punishment. I don't want this. You shouldn't want this. And that's the reason why Oren and people like me make these videos. I don't have a problem with Muslims. I think some Muslims are incredibly genuine people, nice, respectful, understanding. That's not the issue. The issue is the ideology coming to a place where Islam doesn't belong, where totalitarianism doesn't belong. So Oren told me to stop saying, wake up. He's right. Act on it. You're seeing it happening. Act on it. Take actions. Share reels, share videos about this, inform people about this. Act on this Islamization that's taking place in the world. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links in the description. Please don't forget to join the Discord in the link below, and now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.